The federal government just loves their big screen TVs, and today I'll show you which ministries and government agencies are the biggest spenders on luxury televisions. Order paper questions asked in the House of Commons are a thing that compels the government to actually answer for once and provide some real data within a set amount of time. It's the law, and so far it's one of the laws the Liberals haven't broken yet, so I don't know, I guess that's good. Now, these order paper questions, when well deployed by the opposition, are an incredible tool for transparency. It forces the government to cut their BS and their spin and all the political doublespeak and jargon about helping the middle class. Now, here's the latest order paper question asked by the Conservative MP for Oxford, Dave McKenzie. Now, McKenzie asked, with regard to the purchase of televisions since February 1st, 2017, broken down by department and agency, what is the total value of televisions purchased? How many televisions have been purchased? And what are the details of each purchase, including make and model, size, price per unit, quantity? Was the TV a 4K TV? Was the TV a 3D TV? Now, look, I don't know what prompted this question from McKenzie, but it is a pretty good one because the answers that came back are crazy. We did get a breakdown of television purchases by department. Now, I'm not going to trouble you with all the small details of what those TVs were, make and model, etc., but I'll give you the bulk spending numbers, and I'll get to some of those in a quick minute. But first, I want to give you a little more context so you can put this enormous spending I'm about to show you into better real-life perspective. The price for a 70-inch ultra-high-definition LG Smart TV at Costco, delivered directly to your door, is under $2,000. Now, don't get me wrong, $2,000 is a lot of money, especially if it's actually your money that you're spending. But keep that $2,000 number in mind as we go through some of these enormous expenditures. The first one, the Department of National Defense spent over $1 million on TV. One TV alone cost over $8,000. This is the very same department that is forcing Canadian soldiers to share sleeping bags amongst themselves and use 3-decade-old rucksacks. But now they're claiming they need hundreds of TVs because, and I quote, on military operations centers or accommodation facilities at sea, on bases and wings across the country, the Canadian Armed Forces rely on televisions as a tool of situational awareness and as a support for personnel morale and welfare. You know what? That I'm totally fine with. Give our soldiers the tools they need to be safe, well-trained, and well-connected to their families. But this is where it gets wasteful. The annex of TVs also includes large-size smart board touchscreens obtained for public outreach purposes, which is key to improving Canadian knowledge and understanding of their military. Can we just pump the brakes here and get our military enough sleeping bags and maybe some F-35s before we worry about the civilian public playing with touchscreens, please? Moving right along. Global Affairs spent $670,000 on TVs to, I suppose, watch Chrystia Freeland participate in panels that call President Trump a tyrant. Blowing NAFTA up in your own face must look way better in high def. The Canada Revenue Agency spent $150,000 on new TVs so they can look at your tax returns on the big screen. The Nuclear Commission spent $140,000 on TVs. Immigration spent $13,000. Indigenous Services spent $23,000 on just 3 new TVs because who needs clean drinking waters on reserve, right? Innovation spent $291,000 and then thousands more on regional offices, like another $86,000 for new TVs for the Quebec Regional Development Office. The Space Agency spent $103,000. Statistics Canada spent $324,000. Justice spent $28,000, which is one of those places I might agree with this spending, if it is to video conference court appearances to speed up the slower than molasses in January justice system we have here in Canada. Canadian Border Services Agency spent $129,000 because what's an illegal border crisis anyway? The RCMP spent $233,000. Now I saved the very best for last. Catherine McKenna's department spent $10,000 on 1 new TV, and $7,500 on another. Now, I assume those TVs are powered by McKenna's bike, right? Plus, they spend another $16,000 for TVs at the Canadian Environmental Assessment Agency and another $7,000 at Parks Canada. And both agencies, as you know, are under Catherine McTelevision's purview. Good thing she cares so much about climate change. Could you imagine the number of TVs she'd have if she didn't? The next time Canadian veterans should ask for overpriced TVs instead of better pensions and reasonable compensation for their injuries. The Trudeau government was more than willing to swing open the vault for that. For the Rebel.Media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Speaking of unreasonable spending and neglected veterans, did you know that the Trudeau government forks over $50,000 in cash aid to every Syrian migrant family that comes to Canada, while at the same time telling our veterans that they're asking for more than the government is willing to give? To sign my petition calling on the government to treat our veterans at least as well as they treat migrants, and to see all the details and documents, go to 50,000.ca.